So let's start with the dashboard. Here you can get the complete overview of client management system at the glance. You can see this is the client status. It shows how many deals are won, how many are lost, and which projects are currently ongoing. And now we have the highlights of total number of active clients and the number of pending tasks which we need to complete on. And it shows the total number of unpaid invoices and the total ongoing projects. Now, moreover, it also shows and revenue earned in the real time. And this is basically the clients which we have successfully completed and the revenue earned from them, and the lost and ongoing projects which we need to get money from. And these are all are in dollars. We can change the currency in the dashboard. It's a customizable thing. So now we have a priority dashboard. In priority dashboard, since we are managing multiple clients, this section organizes them by importance. For example, if the client is marked as high priority, medium priority, or low priority, so nothing basically slips through the cracks. Now we have the visibility into the client source, where some clients generally comes through referrals, some comes through Instagram ads, some comes through advertisement, LinkedIn, phone outreach. All these things will be reflected from the client source. And the a final one, it is a task schedule tracker. This basically shows the upcoming scheduled task for next 5 days, so you can always know what's coming up. Now let's move on to the client list, which is the core of the entire system. So this is the panel where you can add all the new clients, delete the clients, and view the entire list of active clients. So here you have to give the entry of the client name, phone number, email, address, and what's the client type. We might have an enterprise client, low firm clients, small business, startup, and some healthcare. In fact, these text can be modified in the setup section, which is I'm going to show on the next one. And we have the start date of the client and the end date. And moreover, we can adjust the priority level of the clients, because sometimes we'll be getting the high client, medium client, sometimes we are getting low priority clients. So this can be tweaked here. And now we can also adjust the source of the client, like from where the client is coming. So whether it's a LinkedIn, phone outreach, email campaign, we can adjust all these things. And now we have the status. What is the current project going on with the client? So if is a client is being completed, like the projects is being done and the client is closed, or there is are any ongoing projects are there, or just the client has slipped away. And if you have any custom notes, you can write here. So the what's the more powerful thing here is whatever you data you filled here, it will be reflected in the above dashboard. For example, here you can see the total number of active clients. So basically we have 7 active clients, and the today's date, and we have a breakdown of priority level, and or even what kind of sources we are getting from, either it's a LinkedIn referral, advertisement, and what is the status of the client. So it's completed, or how many are being lost, how many are the ongoing clients, and the overall progress. In extent to this, so basically whenever we fill a call log and the email log, those details are being also reflected here. So like let's say if I fill the call log here of the client, so what if I give the call date and the time and client name, and as we are filling the phone number here, so automatically the phone number will be reflected in the call log, and whether the answer is there and the call duration notes, all these things once it is been written here, it will be reflecting here in the call log. So it will be showing what is the number of calls made and what is the last call date, and when is the email sent. This is for the email log. Whenever we submit, basically for the email log, we have to keep details in the email log section. And similarly for the number of ongoing projects, so like let's say we have clients and we are working multiple projects for him, and we can keep what are the number of ongoing projects for him and number of completed projects, all these things. And the tasks, so like let's say if we have scheduled a task to do for a particular client for today, so it will be showing those things. And we can whenever we update the list of meetings with the client, so it will be reflected here, that what is the last meeting date, upcoming meetings, and upcoming meeting dates. So whenever, so how many upcoming meetings all are there. Now finally the status, the payment status of the client, so how much money is unpaid from him, and how much money is paid. All this payment status will be reflected in the last dashboard. Now coming to the point where we can change the details. So if you see in the client, whenever I want to change the client type, enterprise, so there are these names, right? Enterprise, small business, law firm, startup, and healthcare. But of course it is obvious that each and every agency or the service-based industry will be having a different client type, so we can update the changes. So instead of enterprise, if I say mid business and save it, it will be reflected here. So instead of enterprise, there will be mid business. So here similarly we can change multiple details like what is a client source, client priority, and what is the status of the client. Here basically the details that are being reflected here in the client source. Here we have multiple things, so we can change this. And the status we have won, lost, and ongoing, which is default for most of the projects. And similarly the priorities, all these things can be changed in the setup. So now after changing the set of client list label for this one, like let's say if we want to change the task list labels, we can change here basically for setting up the task for doing today, or in the set the task subsequent days. So we can change the list of labels in the task list, and similarly we can change the all the set of labels in the project list. We can change all the set of labels in the invoice log. So some people might partially pay it, some people might change give advance, so all these things can be changed. And now here is where we can change the currency based on your country demographics. We can change it. Now coming to the next part, the call log. So basically here, whenever we make a call with a client, or if you get some calling agency or something done, so you can write down all the list of call logs you have with the call date, time, and the client name, and the number of the name of the clients, everything will be reflected here, along with the number it is been pre-filled, as we have given the name of the clients in the client list, and we can set up the call duration and the notes. So once we fill up all these details, so it will be reflected here. If we have any call logs today, then it will be reflected, and the total number of unanswered calls, answered calls, all these things will be reflected. Now let's say if I just want to choose any specific client and want to know what are the list of conversations I have, because this is a very small sample test data, but if we have a huge data, so it's not a advisable thing to go and skim on each and every data point. So here that's the reason we have this. So we can choose any one of the client name, and it will be appearing what is a call log, and what is a date, what is a note, call duration, all these things. And we can change the sorting order, because if we want in the ascending order of time we can keep, or if we want the descending order of the dates we can keep. Similarly we can also add call duration. We can say what is the number of call durations it will be coming, and if we want to know get a note, so it will be updated here. Now, very similarly, coming to the next part, we have an email log. In the email log, we have email date, time, and similarly, we can give the client name and the email which has been auto-filled, as we have given the details in the client list. And we can change the status, whether it's replied or no here. And of course, if we want to add more custom options, we can give and setup. And right now, we have to give a email title and the email content. So this will be above reflecting what is a thing. So number of emails that are being unreplied, some of number of them are replied, total number of emails sent, and the total number of emails that are actually replied. So this is for today, and this is the total number. And similarly, like let's say if we want to choose any specific client, then we will be getting the total number of lists we have seen, like the replies and the email date, time, and the details of that is filled by the client, sorting order, email content. So if I just want to give read the email title here, we can change the email title. Or if I want to see what is the reply status, then it will be giving this. And also now if I want in an ascending order in the email dates, you can see it's been reversed. Now coming to the next part, which is a project list. So now we have to write down all the list of projects we got. So the start of the project, deadline of the project, and which client we are doing the project for, and what's the project type, and what's the priority of the project, and the status of the project, whether it's started, not, or it's in progress. All these things we can write the status and then finally the notes. So once we give all these details about the project, then we can see the above dashboard is updated accordingly. Currently it will be showing like the total number of high priority projects we have, and the total number of status of basically the status of different projects we have. Now the total overall progress of the project, so how many projects are being completed, and what are the ongoing projects that are there, which is coming in this particular interval. Now let's say if I want to see the project based on the client type, so if I just give this, and it will be showing what is the project start time, deadline, and the project details, priority, and what is the status, and what is the notes of it. And now if I want to change the display content from notes, so whatever the notes I have written for this particular client, then it will be showing here. Now coming to the next task, so it is for managing all the tasks. So, as we are doing projects, so this contains multiple tasks that need to be actively managed, right? So now we can, give the start date, deadline, and what client that project is related to, and what's the task pending. And right now we can say what is the priority of that, whether it's a high task or very important task, mid or low task, and the status of it, whether the start task is done, completed, not started. All the status can be written, and the notes. Now, of course, you can see everything will be reflected in the dashboard based on the data you filled here. So this will be showing all the next tasks in for the next 5 days, and it will be showing the priority dashboard. And so basically, whether it's an important task or high level task or mid task, all these things. In fact, I have said you before that you can change the names in the setup section. And now we have something called the status, so we can change the status of the task and the notes. Now very similar to the previous sheets. So here I have to choose the client name, and after choosing the client name, I can create in an ascending order of the starting dates and the priority of it. So like let's say if I want to see the notes, so the notes of it, task details, all the things can be just reflected here. Perfect. So now we have the next part, which is a meeting list. Same logic follows here. So whenever we have a meeting with a client, either it can be in Google Meet, Zoom, or coffee shop, anywhere. So it's depends upon you. So you can write the meeting date and the time, what client the meeting is with, and the venue of it, the meeting title, content, priority, attendance, so whether he's attended or not, and the notes, or maybe a short summary of the meet. So it will, so like let's say some meeting is scheduled in the future, then it will be showing all the upcoming meetings, which is being scheduled for the future. And the next part, very similar, we can see all the list of meetings we have with the client, and we can write down in the ascending order and the display content. Yep. And you can change the display content. So what is the meeting title, priority, attended or not? All this display content can be changed. Now, finally, very important. So it is the managing of invoice logs. So here we have all the list of clients, which we can see, and the total number of invoice amount we have given for the client or from mixing of all the projects, and the invoice date and the deadline for paying that, and the invoice status, whether it is being paid or partially paid, unpaid. All those status can be updated, and finally the notes can be also updated here. And of course, as you can see, the invoice details will be reflected in the dashboard, the total number of money that is being won or lost, or it's in ongoing. Now finally coming to the next part of the invoice. Oops, basically coming to the next part of the tracker. So it is for giving the calendar view. So if we have any meeting tasks, we can basically view here something like this. So basically you have to change the start date here, so the month will be automatically updated. And like let's say I have kept the start date at this particular date, and it will be showing what are the meetings that are there in this weeks. So yep, that's it. So it is, this tool is very useful for managing your entire client base. And yeah, you can change the name here and you can update the logo.